Hello everyone, hello and hello, and good afternoon. See, I've said it right this time. Good afternoon instead of good morning. How's everybody? If you're on, I am a bit early at the moment, but just to get people coming on so that I can then show what we're doing. Yeah, so if you're on, please give me a hello. Say hello or type hello. Hello, hello, hello. Anybody on? Anybody about? Hello everyone and welcome to the Thursday live, and I'm actually going to be using some of the plates. Hi Mum. Type hello everybody so I know you're watching. Hello, hello, hello. And I'm just going to wiggle this around because there's a bit of sparkle on there, but I may not do that. So there's a bit of sparkle in this little area there. Just get it onto the light, you might see it then. You can see there's a bit of a glossy thing there, but you can't quite see all of that. Hello Annie. Hello Gaina. If anybody else is watching, please type hello so I know you're watching, and then we can proceed with the card then. Thank you, Jill. And good morning, good afternoon to you, I should say. Right, so it is 2 o'clock. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to proceed with the card. So I don't know if you saw our post the other day, but we've actually put a lot of these, all the foil stamp dies and everything and plates on to a sale, which is 40% off the original price. I'm going to just show you a few things that I've done. In fact, I'll show you what I've done with some of the other ones that I've got, and then we can go on then and continue with this card. So I'll just move them aside and I'll show you what I've done with some of the design. So since putting these onto the plates onto thingy, this one is actually sold out, but you can see that's very bright, and then that's a nice washed out colour. So I'll show you how to do that. So that's one plate. This is the plate I'm going to be using today, which is the softly swirling background. So you can see that's a nice lilac and colour. And we've got the honeycomb one, which is lovely. Hello Donna, how are you? And unfortunately the butterfly one actually sold out this morning, but I'll explain something later, so you may be able to use something as well that you may already have at home. And then we've got the lace. The lace one is beautiful. Absolutely do love the lace one. It's quite dimensional because you've got the embossing on there as well. Okay. And then I'm also going to show you, I've also done teal dots. So we've got the dotty one as well. And then I'm even going to show you how to do something like this as well. Okay, and that's lovely, that is. and the ink is still wet on it because it's a pigment ink, so I could actually pour embossing powders on there and emboss it as well, so it's a more of a glossy. Okay, so let's proceed with doing the card. So first thing I'm going to do is prepare these two bits. So this bit is the initial dark colour, and then this piece here is the light colour. But you really don't know. It is nice, the lace one, I have to be honest. It is a very, very nice one. So what I've got is an A4 piece of, this is 300 gram, you can use 250, you can use 200. And all I'm going to do is take my guillotine and cut it to 15 first. And I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to cut it to 10.5. So that then gives me two pieces that are 15 wide by 10.5. Now, okay. So I think everything is in the link below as well for all the sale stuff that we've put on. So if you do want to have a little nose, you can go and click in there. And even though I've used these lovely lilac-y colours, today I'm actually going to do this card within a lagoony teal sort of colour. So just to show you, you can make the same card but completely change it around. Okay, so first thing I need to do is to get my plate. So this is not a die cutting die. It's actually a solid foiling die. They're very noisy to take off. They are taped on really well. And this one is called the Softly Swirling Background. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring my little Germline Junior in, and you can use any machine for doing this as long as it's big enough to take the size of the plate. Okay. And the size of the plate, just so you know, is 12 centimeters wide by just under 17 centimeters, or for those who are inches, it's just over 4.5 by just over 6.5. Okay, so as long as that can fit in your machine, then you can do whatever you want with that. So with your Germline, there's a smoky plate, and you can see mine's lovely and curled, lovely and curly. I'm not using that on this one. So normally you would use that in embossing, but these are quite thicker, a bit thicker. But what I am using is one of the cutting plates, the magnetic, the metal shim. Hi, it's our afternoon to you. So yep, so I'm using my clear, my magnetic, my metal and my rubber shim. So any side of the rubber shim will work. And then what I'm going to do is place one of my pieces of card on there that I've just cut. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you how I ink up the plate. So I'm going to take the plate, and I'm taking a hard rubber brayer. So it's a hard red rubber brayer. This one's still got acrylic paint on, but it's all dry. But I'm going to use that. It's got little feet there so that I can put that on table so the roller doesn't touch a table. And I'm going to do that, and you can just take it off and clean it. So you just pull them off, you can clean them and stuff like that. Okay. And then I'm going to take my Lagoon ink, and this is one of the Harmony Spectrum Noir opaque pigment inks. This is called Lagoon, so it does give you a lovely sort of teal sort of variation in colour. And that's all I'm doing, just inking up the centre of my wheel, and you can just see there's a little bit of teal in the middle of that. And then all I'm going to do is take it to the pad, and because it's a hard rubber roller, you can see the colour going on. Because it's a hard rubber roller, it won't push down through into the background of the plate. Okay, and you can ink it up as much as you want. So if you want it to be paler, I'm just going to go 2 directions as well, left and right, just to make sure I get a good coating, and then I'm going to go back and forth as well. So I'm going to show you another technique with this in a minute as well. So as you can see, my colour is on there, and because it's a pigment ink, it will actually stay wet on there for quite a while. Can you use the other type of brayer? You can use the soft brayers. You've just got to make sure you're not putting too much pressure so it doesn't push down into the back, and any of the brayers will do really, but the hard ones are a little bit better. Are there different plates for the Germline machines? No, Ian, as yours seems to. Mine were the original plates. I think your magnetic shim will now have it's a white one with lines and sizes on, Jill. And yeah, I think they've changed a few of them around so they look a little bit different as well. Okay, so all I'm going to do, I've got my card here. I'm going to cover my ink up there with the lid. So there's my card, just brought into shot. I've got my ink already done there. I'm just going to hold the edges of the plate, and I'm going to put it down onto my card. Okay, then I'm going to take the second cutting plate and put that on the top, and then I'm going to feed it through my Gemini. And this is the Gemini Junior I'm using, and it would help if I turn it on. There we are. And then when you take that off and lift your plate gently up, it leaves you with a nice pattern bit of card. Now that, and it's debossed, so the colour bit is debossed into the card, so you can see it's even embossed on the back there. Okay, and then I'm going to take my second piece of card that I've cut to the same size. I'm going to take my plate again without re-inking. I'm going to place that over the top, and I'm going to feed that through. Yeah, I think they changed the plates, Jill, because people were getting too confused between the rubber shim and the magnetic shim because they were the same colour. So people kept cutting through the magnetic shim thinking they were using the rubber one, and so on and so on. So as you can see now, I've got a second pull. So one is light and one is dark. Okay, so that's a nice way of doing that. Okay. But I want to show you something else as well. So now I've done that, I'm just going to pop my Gemini to the side a minute. I'm going to pop the plates to the side a minute as well. Okay. And we'll come back to cutting after. So what I'm going to do with this now is actually brayer some of this colour onto there. Okay. So that's that colour, and that's ready waiting for me. And I'm going to actually wash my brayer now. Okay, so I tend to use, because I've got an old baby wipe, I'm literally going to just spray it with some water. So I always reuse and reuse and reuse my baby wipes. If I try not to use them, but in this case I am. Otherwise I use old tea towels because I can wash them. But I'm just removing the tea link off of my brayer. And the colour you can see on there is actually the acrylic paint from when I've done paint jobs, acrylic paint on stuff. I'm just cleaning that. So I've got my plate there, and on an acrylic block I've actually got one of the media plates from the John Next Door brand. This is the circle one. I think you get a circle, oval, square and rectangle in the set, and we are looking to get bigger plates as well soon. So that is that. And what I'm then going to do, I'm actually going to take, I think I'll actually take the little honey pot yellow. I'm going to ink up my I'm not sure if you can see the yellow going down on that. So what I'm doing, I'm just rolling over all of that. Hi Mum, how are you? So I've now inked up over the thing. You can see now there's a little bit more yellow on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is turn over this, and like a stamp, I'm actually going to go over the plate and push down. So this is like a big stamp, these little meter plates. So I'm going to take that. So that's lifted up some of the cream and stuff from there. And then I'm going to take a clean piece of card and pop that down on the top as well. Okay, so it'll stick to the card, so just lift it over and just rub the back, and that way you don't get any air bubbles and it doesn't miss anything. Okay, so I'm just running my fingers across the back of the plate, and then I'm going to take a jelly plate print. So when I lift that up, then I'm actually left with a nice yellow background with my nice light teal colour pieces in there. Okay, and this is one I did earlier on with the red on the plate, red on the jelly plate and black on the actual plate. So you can see you can get some nice sort of looks on that. I know it's a horrible day, Mum. Terrible day. Nice and wet and soggy. So I'm just, because these are metal, they're going to last you a lifetime. And they're really sturdy actually, so they're never going to bend on you. Unless you put them in a vice and actually bend them. So I'm just going to give that a wipe and then use my old tea towel to give that a wipe. Okay. And then any ink you've got left on your little brayer, you could even take that to a bit of scrap paper and it'll give you different smoky backgrounds, which is what I've done on every one of the colours that I've done. So there's the teal, there's a yellow and a lilac, or yellow and pink, and then there's the lilac and the red. So you get a nice background. Cutting flowers and stuff out of there is very nice, or just as a soft background. So you can see you can get lots of stuff from just the waste off your brayer. So you don't have to keep washing it all away. Okay, but I've now done my two. Okay, so I've done the two I'm going to be using. And I'm just, so I know we've still got the lace one, the honeycomb, the dots, and this one, which is the swirly one, in stock at the moment. Unless everybody's rushed to buy it. Okay. So I've got these two pieces. So the next bit I need to do is to choose my colour. Mirror card or pearlescent card, or matte mirror. You can use all sorts of different cards, or you might even want to just use a colour sheet of card. I'm just going to get my little spritzer bottles. With water. No, I'll use that one. It's just water so I can clean my jelly plate. And just use a baby wipe and just rub all that over the top, and that will actually take all the ink off of there. I'll just wipe that. Yes, we do, Sarah. We still have some for sale. They're all on our website and they're all on the link at the bottom of the comments box there. So if you want any of them, please go and have a look. There's words and all sorts of things as well. Okay, so as you can see, I've got in the card, I've got this piece and this piece. So that is the dark piece, and underneath there is the light piece. Okay, so that's those two pieces done, so just so you know where they are actually going. I'm just going to pop that to the side. Finish with the inks now for a bit. Da, da, da. And now I'm going to bring in, so I've got nested rectangles. So these could be the Phil's double deboss ones, it could be press cut ones, it could be tonic ones, it could be any ones you have really, and they could be square and they could be rectangle as well. So you know, it's down to you what you want to use. Perfect weather for crafting. Yes, absolutely, Gavin. So what I'm going to do, I've actually chosen my colour of my matte mirror board, and I've chosen a lovely sort of colour that will go with this. So you can see it's absolutely glorious. So this is a matte mirror. Okay, and I'm actually going to trim this down to the width of my largest die I'm going to be using, so I'm not wasting any of it. So just a little bit of waste either side, and then this is spare, so I got another one for another card. Okay, and also if you cut the bottom bit off as well, then that gives you bits for sentiments and other things that you want to do as well. So I'm going to leave that to the side. Similar, Sarah, yes, we did have used similar sort of technique, but I'm not sure if we used embossing folders to actually do that. Okay, so now I've got my two dies, and this is just making a frame to go around the image. Okay, so I'm just making sure it's all balanced out, and I'm going to take some low tack tape and stick that on there. Okay, and then on the Germline Junior, for cutting things like this, I then need to take the same sandwich but remove the rubber mat and the metal shim. So I have a cutting plate, a magnetic plate, then I use my smoky shim, then I turn my card and dies upside down, and then I have them cutting into the top one here. I'm just going to cut that there. Okay, so now I have a frame, I have a piece that I can use and put a little matte layer inside for another card. And I've got, so if you're really careful and you cut your pieces perfect, you can use the outer frame like that for a card. So even with that, I could use that with that. Okay, and then the little frame on the inside is the piece I actually need. Okay, and I've just removed that. Lovely. It's actually embossed a little bit of the lines on the outside. And that is my die cutting for that little piece. Now, the sentiment is also on a little bit of a scalloped edge, just like the die, the frame. And the way I did that was actually taking the smallest matte and layer die I've used. Okay. And you could take it out of that, okay, because that is the same width. And if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 little scallops. Hi Bev, how are you? One, two. So what I'm doing, I'm just taking my die and I've slotted the end here into the die. Okay, and we said it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 little scallops. So what you do, you count the scallops from the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I've put that perfect there. And all you got to do is make sure it's 9 on that side as well, which it is. And then when you turn that over, it's ready to cut that piece. So to hold it in place, we're going to take our low tack tape and put that to the one side there, and put it to the one side there as well. So what we're doing now is holding that in place, and it's still within these scallops there. So if you haven't got a nice long elongated piece and you want to cut a nice sentiment piece, you can do that as well. Okay, and so that I don't mark any of the mirror card there, I'm actually just going to take a scissors and cut along that end there, because if you've got any marks on your cutting plates, it will actually mark your mirror card. So now I've got this ready to go through my machine. Okay, so it's the same sandwich again. It's the clear plate, cutting plate, magnetic plate, smoky shim. Turn that up so the card is facing upwards and the cutting edge of the die is facing upwards, and then the cutting plate on top. And that's actually the sandwich that Crafter's Companion Germline actually put in the book. And then when you take that off, that little bit has dropped off the back. And when you take that off there, you've actually got a nice little tag that's actually exactly what you need. So that's how to use your bigger dies to get your own sort of little sentiment tag with a little pattern around the edge. Okay, everybody happy with that? So we'll go through what we've done so far. So we've literally, I don't need that bit now. So we've actually cut a frame, and we've actually cut our piece for our sentiment. Okay, so that's there. We've inked up the plate and debossed it on a piece of card, and then without inking it up again, we've debossed the second piece. Okay, so you can see that's a light and a dark bit. And then I've got a little piece of this card here, and if you look, there's a little border just either side here. Okay, and I'm going to use that to actually do that. Okay, so that's the bit I'm going to cut now. Put that there, put that there. Put my frames on top. So now I'm going to take that and I'm just going to cut some pieces that are, let's cut that to 12 first, so I know it is 12. And then I need my pieces to be about 2 centimeters, so 1.5 centimeters. So 1.5 centimeters off 12 is 10.5. That's my first little piece. And then 1.5 off 10.5 is 9. So that's my other little piece. So there's no point putting a full piece that goes right across the card, because we're only going to see a little bit either side. Okay, so we just need a little piece either side. And then I've got that amount left then for something else, which means I can do 2 of these cards out of 1 piece of pearlescent. Okay, so I'm now going to put that aside, my Gemini aside, so that we've got all the space for doing our cards. So first thing we need to do is to fit our frame to our dark piece, and the way I'm going to do that is using, alright, now I did add some shiny sort of background stuff to here. So the way you can do that, there's a few ways of doing it. You can use your glitter glues, you can use a spray, or you can use, you know, people just sort of put a varnish or stuff over it, so it's up to you, but I'm going to keep it quite plain this time so it's not too different. So I'm going to keep that plain this time. And I'm going to use my all-purpose colour. Who's Kate? You pretended to be somebody else, Bev. Oh, you're Kate. Hi, sorry, I'm Kate. So I've just stuck that onto there flat, and then I've got a little bit that's hanging over the edge. I'm just going to put my scissors under the scallopy areas and just cut that off. I could have cut it down before I went under there, but I wanted enough card underneath. So I'm literally just cutting underneath the scallops so you don't see any of the white along the edge. Okay. You're a busy girl then, Bev, if you're rushing around all the time, which we know you always are. So that is now this piece here, and the one thing I want to do with that is put some foam pads or foam tape to the back of it. Okay, so I'm just going to put 3 along the top. So these are just big foam pads, and I just cut them down the middle so that they go a bit further. So I'm just going to put a few in there, 2 up that side, 2 up that side, and then I tend to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to there and 1 in the centre, and that just stops them from bowing down in the corners. Okay, so that is now ready to go on my card later, so I shall put that to the side. If you can hear that weird voice, that's the rubbish man going past for scrap. And then this piece is actually going on the card exactly like that, which is going to bring me to my next bit. So this is an A4 card. Okay, and this one's actually got a score line in it, so that's for a different card. Oh, well, yeah. That's for my easel, so I'll get another card. Haha. So there's an A5 card. It's folded. It's A4 folded in half. And my bottom panel, so this is the lightest panel, my darkest one is within there. I'm actually going to put all-purpose collal on this. I'm going to place it on there, and because the card is actually 15 by 21, it'll actually coat halfway. So just to the edge and to the edge, and that should be perfect size. So that is now half my card coated there. Okay. And then, as you can see, I've also got the little borders here. Okay, so I'm going to do them as well, and then that'll give that a chance to dry. Okay, so a little bit of all-purpose collal on the back. Slide it up to the edge of the pattern paper, and if that glue comes off anywhere, just as long as it doesn't go onto the mirror card, you'll be fine. Yeah, Phil must be in a better class of players, Kevin. If he gets an ice cream van. Although he never offers to buy us one. Okay, so that is my little border, which is sort of separating this from the top, and then this will actually go on to there. Okay, so before I put this on, I want to stamp up in this corner. On this one I used this one here from Phil's Deco Corners from the Roaring 20s, but I'm wondering about using a different one on this one, so I may actually use, might just go with this one here. Okay, so I'm just going to open it up. Not surprised, it is too cold for ice cream today, Joe. What I'm going to do actually is change my mind. There's too many of these borders. Too many borders to choose from. I'm going to use that one, I think. I'm actually using this one here on this card. It's a slightly different one. Okay, and what I'm going to do is use an acrylic block. And I'm just using a small acrylic block just to fit that on there. Could use my press to impress as well, but because I only want to stamp once, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to get my black ink. So I'm actually using VersaFine. I'm just tapping gently a few times over the stamp just to make sure it coats lovely. Seal my ink pad so I don't put my fingers into it, and then just be careful as you're putting the stamp down. Just going to line it up into the corner, and they're quite thick mounted stamps actually, they're quite thick stamps, so you be quite a distance away from the card when you stamp it. Okay, so that's a lovely corner there. Okay, and I just take a baby wipe or a bit of wet tissue and wipe the ink straight off my stamp, and then clean that. Never too cold for ice cream. Yeah, some people do like to, yeah, it's quite a few choices on that. There are quite a few corners. There's 2, 4, 4, 8, 12. So there's 12 corners altogether, some quite large and chunky, some of them a lot finer as well. So it's a good range of stamps really. So that's lovely. So I've now stamped my corner, and I'm only doing the one corner. Okay, and now I've done my corner, I can now fit my little panel on top. I would use my press to impress. Donna says she would use a press to impress, which I don't blame her. A lot of people would, but just for one stamp, you know, I'm quite happy. I'm quite a competent stamper and a confident stamper, but I do like the press to impress as well, especially when you're doing the larger sort of stamps, because if you miss a bit you can go back, and I love that. So there's all my foam pads all off, and I'm just going to look down over the top of this, centralize it so it's nice to the corner, and pop that down. Okay, so that's our card starting to come to life. So on here I've actually got best wishes, and I've also got the lady. So this is our next part to do. So to do the lady, I've only had one of the Fill Roaring 20s lady stamps, and then I've had a couple of the gentleman ones. So I'm now going to get my press to impress, which I always love, my press to impress. Okay, and the stamp is rather a big stamp. So I'll give you a measurement on that stamp now. So the stamp is actually in centimeters, 16 centimeters by 6 centimeters, and that's quite substantial. And what I'm going to do then is take a little bit of white card. So I could use watercolor card, I could use super smooth card, which is what I am going to use. Find my piece of super smooth. I know I've got some. There we go. So I've got a piece of super smooth, and just to be quicker, I'm just going to cut this off screw. Just going to okay. So just got a piece off there, and I'm going to use my magnets now just to hold that piece of paper in place. And I'm going to take my stamp, I'm going to stamp it on there. Okay, so I think the other thing I will also do after that is stamp my sentiment as well. So I'm just going to ink this up, and again I'm using VersaFine. I am going to be using my alcohol inks, alcohol pens. ink that up, bringing it over. I'm just putting a little bit of pressure on the stamps because they're quite thick stamps anyway. Should give a nice little stamping. Okay, you just make sure that you're happy with everything there, and that's wonderful. There's a little bit just in there of mist I can see, but because I can go back over, yeah, there's still a bit of ink there. So I'm going to push that down. There we are, that's done. Okay, so now I've done that, I can clean my stamp. It's never too cold for ice cream. Now the Eskimos never complain, do they? We've got ice cream lollies in the fridge, a bit like Magnums but cheaper, which we love. So I've cleaned my stamp now, and I'm just going to pop that by there. And then which sentiment shall we use? I think I'm going to use Best Wishes again, because Best Wishes can mean a lot of things. And when you've cut your little sentiment area like this, thank you Sarah, glad you like that design. It is nice. So all I'm going to do, there's a little sort of emboss line just inside where it was cut. So all I'm going to do is take it to the nearest centimetre. So that is going to be 9 centimetres by 2.5. So that's 9 by 2.5. So I'll take this off, close that up, bring my trimmer in. Okay, I need it to be 2.5 centimetres. So I'm just going to take the size to 2.5 there, hold it down and trim that, and then that should be 9. So take that to 9, and I'm going to cut that. Okay, so now I've got my girl stamped, and I'm going to get my sentiment stamped as well. I'm not sure if we've got any folders. I think we've got some of the pockets, but I'm not sure, Mum. If we have, they should be on our website. And like Donna says, she likes to use her press to impress. So hope that answered your question, Mum. If we have, they will be on our website. But we're back in the shop tomorrow, so I could have a look for you as well, if you can't find them. So I'm just going to pop that over and make sure it's square. It is. Make sure your card is back in the corner. Take your VersaFine, and while I'm stamping this, the VersaFine on the image is actually drying a bit now. Best Wishes, and that's been done. So I can put the Best Wishes to the back now, which if I show you will fit lovely on there with a nice little border. Okay, so I have a nice little border. So that can be left by there to dry, and then we're going to colour our image. So some people are wary of colouring with alcohol pens. I know some of you have actually bought some of the tri-blends, which gives you sort of 3 colours within a pen. So you've got the light, medium and the dark. I'm literally only going to be using 1 colour on this, but I will show you how to shadow it as well. And when you're colouring with anything like this, make sure that you pop a bit of waste paper underneath when you're colouring. Okay, So I've got a few colours, and the reason I stamped that sideways is because I can check my colours out on my piece here. So with your pens as well, on the tri-blends, obviously you've got 3 pens within one. And of that sentiment, what set's in it? What set is it in? The sentiment is actually in with the All That Jazz. And then it's got Dollface, All That Jazz, Best Wishes, Swanky Party, and For You. Do you know if we've got this in stock, Gavin? The lovely lady, the All That Jazz. They will be on our website under the Roaring 20s. And yeah, it's the lettering's in the same stamp as the lady, so it's All That Jazz. You can go into our website and type in All That Jazz and it should pop up as well. So I think I've answered Angela's and Jill's answer by there, I think, hopefully. So I've now got FS2 in the alcohol pens, which is a very, very pale one. You can hardly see it on the camera. And then I've got a TN1. The TN1 is also another little pale one. But in those days, they never used to have very bright skin or brilliant tans or stuff like that. So just colouring with the TN1 first. Just putting in a coating to get the light colour down for the skin. And the arm. And the other bit of arm there. And there. So I do like to use the lighter colours for the skin. But there are numerous skin tone colours that you can use. So if you want them to be a little bit more tanned, you can. And then the FS2 is a little bit brighter. So what I'm going to do is where I want to put the shadows, so underneath the skirt area there. I can bring that up a bit actually. Bring it up underneath the skirt there. I like to bring it just down both sides of the legs and in where the shoe is. Because the arm is behind this piece, it's going to be very shadowed down there, and then down the one side of the arm and the other arm. A little bit on the arm there, and then this is under the arm, so it's a little bit darker there, and then it's dark around by the necklaces where the beads are, and under the chin there, and the hairline, and then in the hairline there, and I like to put a little dollop just under the cheek there. I don't know if you can see that actually. It is quite pale, but like I said, ladies in that era used to have quite gentle colour skin, and that's actually blended in lovely already, so I don't even have to do anything else with that. It is very, very pale though, that one. Okay, but it is very nice. And then I'm going to do the hair. So the hair, I'm actually going to use EB6 and an EB5. So the EB5 is darker than the EB6. So I start off with the dark colour first. And this is for the hair. So there's a little bit of colour underneath just dotting a little bit of colour, making some little curls in the hair. Go along the bottom part there, just dotting some colour in because it's quite a small area. And I'm leaving some light areas there as well. So I should bring that up and show you closer. Done some little curls in the hair there. And then I've just dabbed a few around the end there. And then I'm going with the lighter colour. I'm just going in and sort of quickly going over the curls I've already put there. And filling in, and because this one's a lighter one, it'll actually blend the light and the dark together, and it'll actually still keep the light pieces there. Okay, and then you get shadows there then. If you've got too much of a line, you just go in a circular motion with the lighter one where you've got the, so that's the hair. Okay, and then I'm going to do the dress. Now the dress I want to do in a lovely sort of teal colour so it matches everything. So as with this one, I've done the dress in a similar colour to what's around. It could be slightly darker, it could be slightly lighter. It's all down to what you really want, really. So all I'm going to do, and this is a lovely, lovely sort of greeny teal colour. Just going to go in circular motions. Because I'm colouring it all, I'm just going to do all this together. And sometimes when you're colouring a larger area, you end up with little lines. And once I've done this, I'll show you what I mean. I probably will get them. So I'm just going to colour that. There, that's the strap. So you can actually put a strap in there as well if you want. There we are. Okay. And because you're doing a bigger area, where you join now, where I've just joined that, I'm going to get a line. Okay. And I'll show you that now. So if we look at that, you can see there's a little line there, little line there, little lines there, where they've all joined onto each other. But if you actually just go back and forth in one fell swoop, not worrying about the very edges, but just coming down and filling in the bigger areas, don't worry about the edges. Then when you come back to it, it'll be a lot smoother. So lines have gone. You can see that lovely. Okay, and as that dries, it'll dry lighter as well. And then I'll show you how I put shadows in then with the same colour. So if you've only got one colour that you like, I'll show you how to add the colours in with it. Okay, so that's that. I'm just going to do the frills down here as well. Because to do the shadows with the same colour, I actually need to leave the first layer of colour to dry a little bit. So that's my nice little dress coloured in there, and we'll match the shoes as well. pen's got a finer sort of tip that side, a brush tip, and then it's got a wedge tip there, so chisel tip, but I'm using the fine tip. Okay, and in fact I missed a bit of skin there, you can see. That's a bit of the arm. I can go back in and add a bit more shadow onto the arms as well, if I want. Once the colour dries once, if you go back over, it'll add an extra bit of colour in there as well. There's a bit more in there. Okay. So, I'm just going to blow on that ink a little bit, because I now need to go in and do some shadows. So to do some shadows, there's a little crease in the dress here. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to flick up from there. I'm actually going to put a little bit of shadows along the side there. And I'll show you this up closer as well. Okay. And then I'm actually going to put some little lines here. Side, just to make it look more rounded. Back and down the side here. I've actually gone out to the line here just to, so I can come in and show you how to get rid of that as well. So you can see the shadows there now, but they're not exactly blending in quite as well. So what you do is just leave that dry a little bit. I'm going up the left hand side of every crease as well, along the bottom. And a little bit under the tab there. You can see then you start getting variations of colour of the same sort of thing. And in fact, as that is drying now, it's looking more realistic and more curvaceous. So that bit is actually drying and blending in, so it's looking rather good. So I'm quite happy with that. We put a little bit of shadow down on the bottom part of the shoe. Either side of that. Make that a little bit darker. There we are. And we'll do the bandit. I think we'll take another colour. Yeah, we'll take another colour to actually do with the little ribbon there and the little ribbon and bandits around her head. I think we're just going to add just a hint of a lilac or pink. I think that's nice. Yeah, I think pink is lovely. Just to add that little accent of other colours in it. Okay, so that's that. There's a little bit of ribbon here. And then the little band across the head. And then with that pink, I'm just going to do the lipstick as well. Okay. So as you can see, two ladies and they both got different colours. So is everybody happy with that bit so far? Because what I'm going to do now is actually cut this out. Now, some people would prefer to use a craft knife and cut around. I'm actually going to use a scissors. There's all different types of scissors you can use. They are little decoupage scissors. Just get it in. So I've got little snippy ones. Okay. That's all I'm doing, is just leaving a little bit of white around the image. If you've got a brother scan and cut, you can actually put it into the brother scan and cut and get it to cut it around for you. It doesn't have to be too precise. You can cut on the line or you can cut just outside the line. It's entirely up to you. Don't be afraid to cut around. And I'm actually taking that tassel off as well, which is what I've done in the last one as well. So you can change this lady up a bit as well. So if you wanted to have a little sort of shawl or muff, whatever they call it, you can. Yeah, squizzers are very good. They do make life a lot easier when you're cutting, and they're just spring loaded. So as you can see, I'm cutting a fair bit of the muff off as well, or the shawl or whatever it is, the fluffy thing that's going around her head. I'm trying not to move the scissors, and I'm moving the paper to the shape I want. I'm actually going to take the cigarette out of her hand as well. So she's just pausing. So she just stood looking statuesque. So don't be afraid to get rid of the big amount around with the bigger scissors before you start going in with a little one. Doesn't matter. You don't have to get into every little bit either. Yes, it is a boa. It's a type of feathery boa, or a chenille boa or something like that, yeah. It is Sarah, yes. So I'm just getting rid of the tassels off the end of it. Yeah, that's what these are. These are little decoupages that I've had these for a good few years, Jill. It's practice for cutting as well, so but if you've got a brother scan and cut, you can actually put this on and say that you want a 1mm border around it, and it'll actually cut it with a 1, because it'll scan it, and then you can say 1mm border around it and all sorts of things like that. Yeah, squizzers are similar to these, but the heads are a little bit longer, and they're brilliant. They're sort of tweezer scissors, basically. Oh no, the one Donald got has got like flat handles either side, but there's a spring inside them, so it opens them back up easy. Yeah, scan and cut is good. So there's a little bit between the legs that I don't want there, because I want to see the pattern through there of the card behind it. And also there's a bit under the arm there that I want to get rid of as well. Okay. So I'll show you how we're going to do that as well. Da, 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 da. Okay, so I've cleared that, that's fine. So I've just got this bit and this bit to do now. So what I would do is take a nice sharp craft knife and make sure that it is nice and sharp. A bit like parchment scissors, they're just a little bit bigger, Jill. Because I got parchment scissors, but they're curvy as well. So going around things, you've got to make sure the curve is the right way, because it can actually go into an area you don't want it to go. And just, if you've got a sharp craft knife, you can actually go around gently. Stop where you want to stop. When you go in, just wiggle. Just a little tip I learned from Hazel. She says when you put your craft knife, just wiggle it a bit and it goes through the layer of card, and then you just can move it along, and that should cut it around nice and easy, and then that'll come out from there. And then in the legs, wiggle so it goes through the card. Some people prefer to use craft knife to cut all around everything. So wiggle again. And then a little bit will come from between the legs as well. There we are. Okay, so that is now my lady. Alright, did you have your scissors was probably the most expensive one then, Jill, because there's 3 different types of parchment scissors. I use the cheapest versions, which I think are only about £10–15, and then there's ones that are 20, and then ones that are almost 30. Okay, so that's all I'm doing is just shaping the body a bit, give it a bit of a curl. So you can take something that's round, just wiggle the card around like that, and it just gives it a bit of shape then. Okay, I can shape the arm out, and the head is shaped now, the other arm is shaped out, and the legs are shaped out, so you get more of a dimension from her then by shaping it. Yeah, just remember to wiggle, just a little wiggle does great. Yeah, they're the more expensive ones, so they are the tweezer ones there. Oh, your husband just bought you a cup of coffee. That's nice, Sarah. Okay, so that's my lady done. I've got my sentiment done now, and I've also got my card base done. Okay, so I'll put my cutting mat aside, and then we can come to doing all this on here. So to put this on to there, if you wanted to keep a little bit more dimension, then you can use 3D glue jar. The sentiment I'm actually going to fit on with my collal all-purpose, and my bottle's looking really old now because I buy the big bottle and refill my bottles, my smaller bottles, and I've got 3 smaller bottles, so I never run out. I'm just going to place that on there. I bet the weather's better in Spain or Sahara than it is here. Okay, and then I've got that there. Okay, so foam pads first, 1, 2 on each end, and then 1 dead center to stop that from bowing. Peel off the back I'm just imagining you wiggling now, Joe. Good exercise, mind wiggling. Okay, so that's my sentiment on there. And I put it to the side because it allows me little areas for gems then. Okay, I'm actually going to add a bit of glitter onto this feather boa, I think. So I think what I will do, I will get my quickie glue pen, which I have. Well, it's exactly like a quickie glue pen, and I'm going to use an iridescent glitter as well. I've got big pots because I invested in them. Yeah, he does, yeah. Phil Martin does love the 3D glue gel. I like it as well. And I have got some here. I use the Kalal 3D glue gel. And I use it in a, it comes with a syringe. Every time you buy a pot and a tube, it comes with a new syringe. It comes with a little head. I think this is a new one, yeah. So it comes with a, so when you buy these, the Kalal, it comes with a new syringe every single time. It comes with a tube squeezer, so you can squeeze it. Comes with a bigger nozzle, and it comes with a little lid to put on the top of your thing as well. And I've already got one here. So I'm going to use this one. Okay, I think the glue is still wet in that one, so I can still use that. If it does dry in it, just pull the syringe bit off the bottom and then just use a pokey tool to clear the inside. But a customer of ours actually got her husband to make me one of these because he made her one. It's a little wooden stand that I can actually put my syringe in and store it while it's in thing. So it's nice, he actually engraved my name on it as well, so it's lovely. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use the center part of the card to put my glitter on. I'm going to take some of my glue, and this glue actually you can see it when it's running because it comes out blue. And I'm just going to put little dots of this glue around. So this is the, like a quickie glue pen. Don't want to put a lot on, just some little dots around here. I'm going to put it on the boa so it looks like a sparkly boa. And then I'm also going to put, and the good thing about this is you don't have to worry about the glue drying, because when it does dry it actually stays tacky until you put something on top. I'm just going to do each and every one of those little gems or pearls around her neck. Do a couple of dots there, there we are, and then they'll become glittery as well. So I'm just going to pop that there, push down on there, which will then release my glitter. And then I can turn it over, tap off the excess, and then there's a little bit of sparkly glitter just on the little feather boa. I don't know if that's picking it up, probably not, but there is a nice little bit of sparkle on there. And then to put this back in the pot, I just close the top, undo it, and then I'll go backwards on this one so you can see it. Okay, and I can put my lid back on. Yes, it can, yeah. So now I've finished with that sort of quickie glue pen type glue, and now she's got a lovely bit of glitter on her, I can now use my syringe. I'm not sure if this has dried actually. Yep, so that one has dried in there. So if you do get that drying in there, like I said, just take a nice pokey tool, and you can see it's not actually coming out of there. So leave it dry a bit more, and then you can pull it out then. It will come out. You can poke a little tool through the top there as well, and that's where it's dry actually. It might just be dry in the top. Ah, right. So there's a little bung in the top there, look. If I pull that out, then the glue should work. I'm glad that's dried in there, because it means I can show you. So I'm just using the pokey tool and pulling all the way down. Okay, let's see if that works. If it doesn't come out, then at least I know it's dry. And then, yep, it's dried in this. So now I'll just use my other syringe, and then I'll empty that out after. So, which brings me to showing you how to load your syringe. That has been in here for a good few months, that have as well. So what we do, we remove our yellow piece off the top of our syringe, and we take our syringe off. Okay, we then open our tube. Let's undo that. And you'll always have dry little bits just on the top. Okay, and then just make sure that it's actually going to come out like that. If you're unsure about the top bit being dry, just take the bit off and leave it go. Okay, and then what you do, start squeezing it out. Put the end of your syringe on there and squeeze your tube. Okay, just squeeze your tube till your syringe is only half full. Okay, so it's only half filled. And then before you put your lid back onto this tube, make sure there's a little bit sticking out and do that up, because then if that little bit dries, you can just pull that bit off and you know you can get into your syringe. Okay, and then you push that in, get it to the top, and then you'll start getting some 3D glue gel coming out the top. And with 3D glue gel, you just make your own depth. Okay, but the good thing about 3D glue gel is you can put small amounts and you can put it in the tiniest little areas, like in the arms there, little dollop there, little dollop there. So you can put it thicker where you need the depth, where you've curved it. Put little pieces everywhere else. So you can put a little bit on the legs there, a little bit on the leg here. Okay, but you can make it as deep as you want. And then what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to place that so that she's standing on top of the wishes. Just push that down gently, just so that the syringe, the gel just touches the card. And then you get that nice little curviness shape to the card. Okay, so she looks nice and curvy to the card. Okay, so you can curve it and stuff like that. And so again, before you put your syringe in, squeeze out a little bit of glue, make sure it goes into the lid, and then push the lid on, and that's ready to go the next time. Okay, and then just replace your, put your tube back in your box, put your glue thing back in the box. I'll clean out that one later when I allow it to dry a little bit more. And then that is that bit. So every glue has its place for doing different things. So 3D glue gel for decoupage, or for fitting curved things. We also have your all-purpose collal, which is an alcohol-based glue, and you can use that on mostly everything. Really thin papers like magazine paper probably show through that, and a mirror card, it'll actually show a little bit of that as well. Yes, the 3D glue gel does take a lot longer to dry as well, but that's why I put that on now, because I'm not actually touching that again. And I'm actually just going to be fitting some gems on top of this now to actually finish that little area off. Okay, so I'm going to leave that syringe out so it can dry, put the scissors to the side. And what I'm going to do now, like this one, I've added some square little gems that I happen to have. I've got some pots here. I've got, so these were the little square gems I used on there. But obviously I've actually used a little bit of pink in this as well. So I could actually use some pink little gems in this as well. Plus I've used pink within the okay, which adds that a little bit of colour into there. Don't think I've got anything that's teal, so I'm going to add a pink one into that corner there. I'm going to add 3 there, and then you can add whatever gems you want. So because I've got a little bit of pink in the bow there, and the little headband, I'm just adding that pink through the gems as well. Okay, so to get them on properly, I'm actually using a little what they call a sticky pencil. And it's a pencil for gems. I think it's got little holes within the lead which allows a suction when you touch a gem. And I'm actually going to be using my high-tack all-purpose very sticky glue. It's £3.50 a pot, and you use so little, it's amazing. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is pick up my first gem, pressure on it, and it comes off and sticks to the pencil, but it's not sticky to the touch, and that's what I like about it. Okay, just going to get my glue out, a little dot of glue, so just to show you, it is a tiny little dot of glue, just there. Pick up my tool, pop it on top and push it down a bit. Pick up my second gem, little spot of glue, okay, and then I'm going to line these up where I want them. So if you're ever doing 3, line them up exactly where you want them, then pick up the middle one, and then you know exactly where to put your glue. And then when you go to do your second and your third one, you'll know that you go on either side of that gem then, and you can always get it perfectly centered then. I might have to try and find some teal gems, because I do like using teal. So has anybody got any questions while I'm just sticking this last gem on? Okay, so I've actually put all them on there. So now we can see that is all lovely. So yeah, I love teal as well, Annie. Teal is just such a lovely colour. I love using teal. So I'm just going to bring in the two cards side by side. Oh yeah, the rainbow pearls would look lovely on that, because that's got a bit of a teal sort of look to it. Thank you for the love. So what do you think of that? Yes, they would, Sarah. They would look lovely on there. So it's the same lady, and as you can tell, I have lessened that around the arm, so you can change it ever so slightly. You know, you can take off that. I've taken the cigarette out of her arm, out of her hand and stuff like that, so you can change the lady just by taking the boa further up, so it's not as long, so it looks a little bit more classy instead of, you know, out there. So that's an out there boa, and that's a classy boa. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Donna. And remember, no matter whatever plate you use, you can do this similar sort of thing. You can use your embossing folders, but because they are plastic, I don't know whether the pigment ink would actually stain them a little to do these backgrounds. But you could also you could emboss the card first, and then take a brayer and run over the embossed area with your ink on your brayer. So there's a few ways of doing it to get this nice little background, but I love using plates like that. So yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Like I said, the products, a lot of the products I've used today are on our website, and you know, some of the Roaring 20s are still available. Some of the plates, the foil plates, are still available. So have a look. The foil plates. Oh, hi Patricia. Yes, if it's on the website, please have a look and purchase it. You know, I did show all the samples of the plates all linked up, Gavin, but I can't show it again. So I will bring them in again and show you them as well. Okay. So the plate I've used on this lady here was, grab that, was the softly swirling background. So that's for the background on this lady. So that's that one. Unfortunately, the other dainty one, swirly one, has gone. Okay, and that was just first pull off the plate, and that was the second pull, so you get a variation in the colour. The dotty one I think we still have, so that's the dots. So that was using the teal ink I used on there. It's just a little bit darker, so it depends on how much ink you put down to what your first pull comes out as. So that was the dots, and they're lovely as well. It's actually an emboss card. So then we've got the lace, which is lovely. Love the lace. Which I think we still got in stock as well. Unfortunately, this one has gone, and I'm not surprised. The last one went this morning on an order, which was the butterfly one. But now you can see what it looks like. You know, we haven't got it anymore, but you may still be able to find it somewhere else as well. The honeycomb one, which is lovely. And the colour I used on that one was actually called Honey Pot, which was the opaque pigment, and that was lovely. I loved that. Very nice. Bees are very good in cards these days. So this is the swirly one I used today, and I was using some of the other colours as well. So yeah. Have you shown the sounds of the bling there? Yes. That's okay. Thank you for watching. You know, it's always nice to do a live. It's always nice to know that people are watching it. Otherwise it wouldn't be worth us doing the lives. Well, it wouldn't worth us be doing the lives. We could just record it and put it on YouTube with all the other lives that we put on. So yeah, so thank you very much for watching us. Glad people have learned things today, what they can do, what inks to use, what glues they can use on things, and hope that you have a little go. If you do make a card similar using techniques like this, you can post them on Valley Crafters, which is our one for sharing things if you bought stuff from us. So if you bought something from us and you're using the card, you can share your photos on there, give other people inspiration, and you can look there as well for other inspiration off other people. Okay, so I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching again, and you know, next time there should be another live. We've just released a Groovy online class. Gavin is going to be doing a Groovy card class with alcohol inks, and we're also going to be starting classes back at the shop as well. So check on our website, check on the calendar, and find out the dates for them. So thanks you again for everybody watching, and we'll see you again soon. Okay, bye.